Hey, it's Chris with Acting Creative, and this is A Handwoven Experience, episode 47. And in this episode, we are going to drill down to the essence of rep weave, also known as ripsmata, which is just one of my favorite words. So you can identify rep weave by this great geometric look and also the distinctive ridges that are in the fabric. That's how you can identify a rep weave from other weaving patterns. Rep weave is called a warp-faced weaving pattern, which means when you're all said and done, it's all about the warp yarns. That's what you're gonna see. And to do that, you have to get the yarns really close together. Let me tell you how that works. Normally, I would set up my warp yarns at maybe 8 to 12 ends per inch. When I'm doing rep weave, I'll do 24 to 30 ends per inch. So they're right on top of each other. This guarantees that when it's finished, you just see this beautiful wall of warp yarns. So let's talk about how to get that really cool geometric pattern in our rep weave fabric. I'm gonna move the camera so we can get a little closer and you can see what I'm talking about. So I am working on a 4-shaft loom, which means I have two, we'll call them blocks, two options. Block A looks like this. See my nice fat stripes here? That's created using shafts 1 and 3, okay? On the opposite side, block B has thinner stripes, which is using shafts 2 and 4. So I have two options, and I'm just gonna go back and forth the whole time. I'll throw A and then B and A and B the whole way through the fabric. It is just that simple. So the way you add interest to that is by having two different weft options. The first one is this nice, chunky, look at that, nice kind of prominent, chunky weft yarn. The other option is this one that's really, really fine. This is like a sewing thread I'm using here. It's really, really delicate. So because we're just gonna go A, B, A, B, A, B the whole way through, we need a way to make some of the blocks more prominent than the others. So let me walk you through this. See here in my fabric, see what I'm starting with? The block B that has the thin stripes, that's the one that we can see, which is right here. So I'm gonna take my weft yarns, this nice and chunky, I'm gonna send that through right there. And like I said, you always have to go A, B, A, B, otherwise the yarn pulls right out. Like if I decided to leave it on B right here, this would just, it would just pull, see that? It would just pull right out. It would just go back out like that. So that's why it's so important to constantly be alternating your blocks. All right, so we'll put that guy in there. I'm gonna pull this forward. I'm gonna switch my feet. So now, see we have block A is on top, but I'm gonna use my really fine one, my fine shuttle to go through like this. And the fine one just doesn't take up any kind of real estate. So that means that you're back to block B, where you have the thin stripes, which I wanted to be able to see anyways. Right? You kind of get the gist of that. So let me show you an example of what it looks like if you just did just the chunky yarn over and over and over again. So instead of doing our thin one here, we're gonna do the chunky one. So we're gonna be able to see our block A. See? And now I'm gonna send it right back through, just kind of ignoring my fine weft for the time being. And I'll just go back and forth so you can see what that does for your pattern. We'll do a few more. It's all about controlling what block is on top. Ooh, see? See that? It went back and forth and back and forth. So everywhere the chunky yarn is, you'll be able to see whatever block we lifted at the time. Versus the fine one becomes kind of a little placeholder. So you can create these kind of sections in your fabric where you want the same thing to show up over and over again. It's a really fun weaving pattern, and honestly, once you get into the actual weaving part, it goes really fast. As you can imagine, because the chunky weft takes up so much space, you just kind of zip through it. It goes really fast. And for my friends that have looms that have more than 4 shafts, you can have more blocks. So if you're thinking just blocks A and B, that's not enough for me. Well, if you have an 8 shaft loom, you can go crazy with the blocks and have many more options for your design, which becomes just that much more exciting. So I hope that gave you a little taste of what the bare essentials of rep weave look like. It's a really fun pattern, and I encourage everyone to try it if you haven't had a chance to yet, because once you kind of get your head locked into what goes where, it's so much fun. That's what I've got for you today. Have a great week, my friends. Happy weaving.